What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Sorry we're coming to you a little late tonight, but we we have quite a funny picture right up here as our intro here for tonight's episode. This is going to be our faces on Monday when SpaceX, or I'm sorry, not SpaceX, Virgin Galactic goes up, SPCE, and we make all those gains. And first and foremost, since we're talking about space right here, we have the stock ticker. We're using Yahoo Finance. I don't know. Can I? Oh, no, that's just going to be that. All right. Indicators. Here we go. We are going to use the SMA. Oh, well, doesn't want to do it. That's all right. We will find that somewhere else. But anyway, I like to use Yahoo Finance here, at least going forward for right now until we can figure things out with TD Ameritrade. Because if we come over here and we look up the stock, it's not going to give us too great of an outlook here. So, so we're going to use Yahoo Finance here instead so we can have a little bit of a better visual. So we ended Friday on a little bit of a down note here. Went from 52 to 49 and change. There's some change in there, but it dropped a little bit. But I did buy some more stock in it. This was for my personal account, so I still have the amount that I put in originally with the money from Big Asset. But it definitely helped a little bit when it bought low and then came up a little bit to end the day. So you can see this huge rise from about 15, 20 a share right in here. When they launched, came up to 55.91 and sunk back down. And now there's more news, which is this little bump that they're having their manned space flight, as I've been talking about. And yeah, this is how we're going to be looking when it goes back up to this $50, $60 mark, maybe even higher. Who knows? We'll have to see. But I also wanted to go over the gold price just as part of our investments here so we can keep up to date with everything. Let's do the 6 month. So you can see gold took a little bit of a hit right here. Kind of went down the last 6 months. Let's look at the 1 year. So this is kind of looking, I guess we're out to do all. So you can see this was the kind of coronavirus spike right up here. Dropped down in the beginning when the virus was first taking hold and the Dow and the whole market was down, as we were discussing before. And came back up. That sold off a little bit. So if you are in the gold market, this might be a negative trend. We'll see if it continues. It's kind of looking a little higher here, but gold's not really one of those things that you trade like a stock. We'll also take a look at silver here. Silver's kind of been steadily moving up the last year. Again, took that little dump around the coronavirus, spiked up. And it's been kind of edging higher. It almost seems like the cheaper investment here with silver, still getting into precious metals versus gold, is keeping its value a little bit more and is still trending going up. And then gold, we're almost seeing a little bit of a decline here, but we'll see how things work out there. Of course, we got platinum and palladium. All right. No, this is, I believe, the gold to silver ratio. So take that for what you will. And lastly, one of the other things I want to bring into the discussion for every episode is going to be the Bitcoin chart. As you can see, it's going down here. I know that there's other different kinds of cryptocurrency, Ethereum, etc. But we're looking at Bitcoin just because it's the most infamous. You can see it's definitely taking a hit here. Gone down. It's at 34.27.48 right now, and its high up here was like 60 grand, 65. Yeah. So it's definitely taken a bit of a hit, but we'll see how things rebound and how it's going to be looking. The only reason I believe it's taken this hit here was due to I think China said that they don't want to use Bitcoin. I'm pretty sure that's what this drop relates to. But then again, you can see here 14,000, 16,000, whatever it came up to, and it dropped down to 7. So take that for what you will. You know, I still feel pretty good about Bitcoin in the future, but as for right now, we'll see what the current markets will hold. So that is everything there. All right, so I've kind of beaten the dead horse on this one, but coming back to space a little bit, as you know, I'm just going to turn my mic down here a little bit. As I've kind of discussed, I really like space. It is a company that I like to trade and that I've been trading. But again, with this launch, and let's actually look it up right now. Let's see what we got. All right. Spaceport America, along with desolate stretch of New Mexico, blah, 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 blah. Let's check it out. All right. Jeff Bezos. Blue Origin. That might be another good stock to invest in. That's going to be happening July 20th. Of course, trip of a lifetime. Major boost for the company, which aims to start commercial flights with paying customers next year. So this is huge. If this works and they have paying customers by 2022, that's going to be huge for this stock. I'm telling you, if Virgin Galactic is able to pull this off, this is going to look like nothing here. The $60 a share, in my opinion, I think that that's going to be almost pennies for Virgin Galactic. Oh, there's our little ship there. So let's see here. Sunday morning, because overnight weather conditions. Okay. So I'm assuming everything went well for them. So this should be good come Monday. Training in the 60s, demonstrate that one. Okay. So, yep, there it is. There's the gains taking off for Virgin Galactic. Again, this is going to be huge for this company, and this is one that I love to watch here because while their financials aren't great right now, and of course, being a company that's so far on the cutting edge of human civilization, really, being able to get humans into space on a commercial basis is going to be huge for any company, and it's looking like Virgin Galactic's going to be the first one to be able to do that. And as we've seen with Tesla, and I'll just pull up their stock right now, Tesla's the first major solo electric car company really that made it big. Elon Musk, he knows what he's doing, so there was a 5-to-1 split there. But you can see what happened to Tesla. Now, a lot of people like to talk bad about Tesla and say that it's not going to be anything. I've heard that because I was trading Tesla on the way up here. I no longer trade it. That's just a personal thing. But, everybody, when it was right around here, oh, it can't go up any higher, and then it tanked. Oh, yeah, that's what you get. Tesla doesn't have good financials. Of course it tanked. And then it came up to here. Well, it can't go any higher, and then it came down a little bit. Oh, it can't go any higher, right? Yep. Now it comes up, and it's kind of like, very volatile right here. It's like you can lose money or you can make money really quick, really fast. No, it can't go anywhere. This is just a crappy stock, and then boom, shot up all the way up to $8.80 a share after the 5-to-1 split, which is insane. And before this split, it was like $2,000 a share. So yeah, it's gone down. It's at $6.56 now, but I like, as far as this growth, it was incredible for momentum trading, like what I do. Now, long term, you can see on Yahoo Finance, they're bullish long term for this company. I think that's 100% true. Being a huge electric car company on the cutting edge of electric cars, and working on the batteries to double their performance, and all this technology that's going into the development of this, it's huge. Other car companies like GM put out their electric Hummer, which is very ironic. Let's not get into that. But you have Ford with the electric F-150. Again, ironic. But there's a huge lean towards this, and this is going to be the future of transportation in a lot of ways. And Tesla being such a big startup of that, they're going to be kind of the granddaddies, if you will, of electric cars. Even though technically they weren't the first ones, there's been other electric cars. Everybody's going to remember Toyota with the Prius, and then Tesla with their whole line of cars. And I know Priuses aren't full electric, they're hybrids, but that was the first real major hybrid, if you will. So that's kind of what we're seeing here. Those two stocks. Again, I'm holding some Virgin Galactic right now. I've discussed this with a few other individuals, and they've purchased Virgin Galactic as well. And I think that you should probably, I'm going to be honest with what I'm doing on my stocks here, I'll probably sell either Monday or Tuesday, depending on the momentum. But that is definitely a short sell for me because it's going to take off as we've seen. I might even hold it for longer, but you have 12.27 and then it peaked on 2.7. So that's 2 months. A month and 10 days. My bad. Of just straight incline. You have 5.9 till 6.20. So again, you have another month and 10 days of just straight incline. So maybe I'll hold it longer. Maybe I won't. I have to see how it goes because it does meet resistance at this $50, $60 mark. That's just crazy looking at the total pattern here. What was it originally? Just for curiosity. $10 a share. And it just sold off at 55. That's crazy. But I think that, if you're holding this stock, I think that's a good idea to kind of watch what Monday brings, what Tuesday brings, and just the whole week in general. And, make sure you sell when you feel comfortable with the gain that you've made if you're holding again. And don't get too greedy with it. Just make your money. I know it looks good. I can hold it for a month and it's just going to continue to go up. Yeah, well, maybe it only goes up 2-3 days and then it drops. So that's my only concern is, it's really close to that point, which it starts seeing resistance here. So we'll see. This might be the one thing that puts them over that mark. And then once it puts them over that mark, who knows how high it's going to run. if it doesn't see a resistance at 60, $70, it could go all the way up to 100. Who knows? That's the thing with stocks like this is it could tank, it could go up. There's no telling what the stock is going to do. So how high is it going to go? Nobody knows. Is it going to tank? Nobody knows. But if it goes up, make your gain, get out, and if it tanks, sell out before you take too much of a loss. That's kind of the rule of thumb. So we looked at space, we looked at Tesla. Let me pull up another stock here for us. And we also looked at gold and Bitcoin. I don't know, that's a hard dilemma, and I'm going to do a video eventually on Bitcoin and gold and precious metals and things that are stores of value. Now you might say, oh, Bitcoin's not a store of value, or that the only real stores of value are precious metals and land. It's true, precious metals and land. That's very true. And you can, if you buy real estate, which is part of land, then you could actually make money. But with something like Bitcoin or Ethereum, even Dogecoin, even though I don't really like Dogecoin's platform, if you will, I think that was more of like a meme coin, and it was set up like, let's all be honest, like Bitcoin, it's Bitcoin. It's like the first kind of big thing where it's like 2 or 24-bit, 12-bit, whatever it was, and kind of like video games, online, Bitcoin, okay, online coin, but Dogecoin, that's literally a meme that's based off of. And hey, you know what? A lot of people made a lot of money in it, and I'm not trying to bash them, but it's just something that, it's one of those things that gets in the news, flashes, and the lights go out before the pan's even, cold, so to speak. And, it's just a quick flash, and it's out of the news, and then it tanks. Nobody has any value for it anymore. And then Bitcoin, to me, it's more of the modern day gold, if you will, for the younger generation, the millennials. And, it's one of those things that it's something that you can buy things with at the store. So it does have transaction power. You're not really going to go to the store with, a gold coin and say, hey, this gold coin is worth $2,000. I want $2,000 worth of stuff. Or, your bill comes to $1,000 and they're going to cut it in half, or, give you the cash back for it. So gold's not one of those things that you can use in transaction, but it's definitely more steady and sturdy as far as its value, as long as, everything has a value. Let's put it this way. Everything has a value that someone else is willing to pay for. It's basic economics, right? And, you can have a transaction where it's like, hey, I will pay you $2,000 for that gold coin. Great. And if we were to just run into some sort of, hyper situation, like just off the rails, not even, hopefully possible. But if you were to have a situation where society breaks down, right? And you're looking at gold, right? Well, as soon as people no longer value gold at its historical value to humankind, as soon as there's struggle and people are like, would I rather carry around a backpack with 10 pounds of gold, which is, millions of dollars in, currency? Or would I rather walk around with 10 pounds of extra food, or 10 pounds of extra water, or ammunition, whatever it may be, fuel? Gold's going to be left behind, just for the simple fact of it's not key to survival. There's other, like if you go back to the start of the American dollar and American currency. And I'll just type it in here. Yeah, sure, we'll use Wikipedia. Not an authoritative source, and I always got yelled at for using it on my papers, but let's do it. All right, continental currency. So you kind of see here that the Spanish dollar, there was the British pound. There were other coins used in America at the time, which were made out of silver or gold, mostly silver. But colonial currency, right down here, there were 3 general types of money in the colonies of British America. Whatever coin that is, printed paper money, which was very rare, and then trade-based commodity money. Commodity money was used when cash, coins, paper money were scarce. Commodities such as tobacco, beaver skins, and wampum served as money at various times in many locations. There was another article that I read where it was lead bullets, like the lead balls used back then, gunpowder, anything that had a value in that society held value as currency for trade. If you really think about it, when you make a transaction, right, for $100, and I'm just going to make math simple here. If you make, let's say, $20 an hour, right, that $100 item is worth 5 hours of your time. It's a direct transaction. If we take out taxes and all that, you work for 5 hours. Your company hands you, here's a $100 bill. And you take that $100 bill and you walk right over and you say, all right, give me that thing that's $100. That $100 bill was just a in between for your time that you spent working and that good. Now, let's say you have some old, let me think here. Let's say you have some fishing poles, right? Just for instance sake, right? You have a few fishing poles and you sell them to someone and they pay you $100 for them. Good. Well, you turn around and then you go out and let's say you buy, for me, all right, some paint for your truck, right? So essentially what I could have done, and obviously business isn't going to work this way, but back in a time where goods were used for trade, I could have traded my fishing poles for that paint. And that would have been a direct transaction, but now we have paper money. And more often than not, electronic money through the banking system. In your bank account, you go online, check your Bank of America or whatever bank account, and you can see how much money you have in your bank. That's not actual dollars or, gold in the vault or anything anymore. I mean, there's some of that, but it's on, it's on electric, basis of, hey, here's how much you have in your account. Trust us, it's there. Which is what happened during the stock market crash, or run on the banks, all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, if society were to get to a point at which the dollar wasn't worth anything, sure, gold may have a place. I don't really think that gold would have a place as much as silver, just for the simple fact that if your silver coin's worth $30 and your gold coin is worth $2,000, if you're trying to barter for some food, let's just say, right? Let's say somebody went out and hunted a deer. They have some venison and maybe some vegetables that they grew, and you're trying to buy that from them. You might give them like 2 silver pieces, right? 2 silver coins. You're not going to give them a gold coin because you're pretty much going to take the whole deer home at that point. So it's going to be very interesting. I don't think that it's really going to happen, but you never know. But that's one of the things I want to cover in the segment is talking about currency, and again, looping in the gold and precious metals and all of that kind of stuff. and do like a series on it. So a series specific on precious metals and things that hold value, and then a segment on like early American currency like this, a more in-depth look at currency throughout the years to kind of give you an idea of where the value of our money comes from, right? That dollar in your pocket, where does that come from? Where's that value? Why is that worth $1? And then why was it that 5 years ago that dollar would buy you, some food when now it costs $1.50? Just for example, I don't know what inflation would be or whatever, but the simple point is, the more let's put it this way. The baseline thing that you need to know about investing is what you're investing with, right? It's all in dollar denominated amounts, correct? My market here, right? My shares in Virgin Galactic, $49.20. That's in dollars, right? $49.20 will buy one share of Virgin Galactic, US dollars. Okay. How about I go over here to gold? All right, I want to buy 1 ounce of gold, $1,813.92 dollars. Silver, $26.18 in dollars. Bitcoin, $34,272.48 in dollars. That's the point, is everything is in dollars. If you want to make an investment, it's in dollars. So if we're seeing huge amounts of inflation now, which we are, how do you protect the value of your investments, right? You can say, oh, well, I'll just put it into Virgin Galactic here and, I'll make 20% tomorrow at Bell Open, whatever. Well, that's all fine and good, but at some point you're going to have so much money. Like for me, I wouldn't put, unless I had a lot of money, sitting in other things, I wouldn't put my whole life savings into something like this. Even though I feel very comfortable with it going up, I wouldn't put my life on it. So what do you get for your dollars that's going to be stable, that's going to go up with inflation, but maintain its value? So that way, when you want your dollars to invest, to buy a house, to purchase things, what's the best way to hold the value of the dollars today? So that way in the future, when you go to buy something, that value is still the same. Now the dollar amount might change, right? We look at gold, right? Let's just say, for instance, that it's all level, it's all with inflation, right? Let's say you bought over here at $250 an ounce, give or take, right? And then, that was, let's just throw a number out there, 10 hours worth of work back then. Well, hopefully it's worth 10 hours worth of work now at 1800, right? It went from 250 to 1800. Hopefully that is the same amount of work that you have to put in for that amount of money. The only thing that did change was the price, right? That US dollar right here, that's hopefully the only thing that changes. So that way it's still the amount of work, it's still the same amount of value, and you're not losing that. So that's a very interesting subject that I like to cover. But as far as looking at next week with stocks, I mean, obviously you got space. That is a huge one for me that I really think will definitely perform well. I think that, let's go back to Fubo, because that was one that we've been kind of looking at. Yeah, I'm just going to check on the stream here. All right, so Fubo. Yeah, it's gone down. Since we kind of last took a look at it right around there. Let's look at the last month here, right? 5 days. So in the last year, we'll just look at that because that gives us a good kind of look at it. I feel that this could be a little drop. I want to see some more trend. I want to see some more upward trend. If it gets up to like 30 to 33 somewhere here in the in this week, I think that might be a good investment, because obviously going up, takes a little dip, keeps on going up. Possibly, I'd have to look a little bit more into it, but I think that could be a good one. We've been following that for a little bit here, so that could be good. Let's look up. Zillow, one of my faves. Again, we're getting close, I think, to the when is there quarterly? August 5th. So this is coming up in less than a month. I think that this is going to boost the stock. If anything, I think that they're going to have some good data. So who knows? It could be. It's definitely been going down because of interest rates, the housing market, and everything that's been going on. But I think that if you take into account that this is the busiest quarter here between May and August 5th, and it's just been going up because of the housing market and how everybody's buying houses right now, I think that this could take a pretty good leap. But I'm not too confident. I haven't really been watching this stock too much. I mean, you can see this slide right here. That could have been from a bad earnings or something, so I'm not too sure. We saw a pretty significant decline right there, but I think that Zillow, I think this is going to be its peak for a while, at almost 200 a share. I don't think it's going to get back up there, but I mean, you never know, especially in this market. Things are crazy, and you just never know how things are going to go. So it's going to be interesting to see what Zillow does. I'm predicting they're going to get a little bit of a boost here on August 5th, but we'll have to see how it continues to trend and how it trades. And maybe I'll look up some information on the housing market and bring that to one of our live streams so we can look at this. Let's look at plug again. So everybody's not liking it. Not in the short, not in the mid, not in the long. Its last low was 23.05 there. It's 29.39 now. I think that it could, continue on this little steady incline here, but I'm not too sure. We'll have to see again how the trend progresses, because it's meeting that resistance point from before, the lower resistance. So if it slips below that line, then it's going to continue to trend down. But if it makes a stand here at 29.17 and jumps back up to 30.35, that could be something that I might be interested in. I'll have to keep on watching that. What's one that I don't think we've looked at yet? Ford. Did it go through? No. There we go. Ford Motor Company. Look at that. Yeah, I mean the car business is taking off. You can see it was really high back in the 90s. And look at all those dividends. Dividend. Blah, 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 blah. Definitely had a high early 2000s, but let's see, it got up to 35 at 17 now. Let's look at the year to date, last 6 months. I don't know, this is going to be an interesting stock. What is their let's look it up on TD. Dividend. No dividend. P ratio though. Yeah, so I don't know, Ford Motor Company, I don't really think that it's going to be an outstanding stock, but you can see what the last year has done for it. Maybe with how the market's been as far as vehicles and especially used vehicles, maybe it can jump back up to here with how vehicle prices are, because that's one of the things getting affected by inflation. So I think that's a possibility. But we'll do a few more picks here and then that'll be good for tonight. Let's look at their competitor, GM, for consistency. I mean, look at that. That is all their electric vehicle company right there. Yeah, that's their max. I mean, GM's really taken off. This will be an interesting one to watch. When's their next? August 4th. So that might be something that I'll watch as far as their next, the next quarter report. If it's not good, you know, it might be, might not be great for them as far as all this gain, especially when there's a rapid gain like this and people are trading it based on some news such as the electric vehicle thing. Then it's about expansion, if you will. So GM's doing this solid business, and then they're like, hey, we're going to come out with an electric vehicle. It's going to be big. And the market just goes crazy for it. They go nuts over it. They're like, finally got into a new market. They love it. It goes up, and it skyrockets from under 20 a share to $60 a share. And GM is celebrating over there. They're like, oh man, my investment portfolio is doing great in my own company, right? But can their financials keep up with it? Can they sell more vehicles? And is that actually the value of the company? Because again, let's remember, shares are the value of the company. You multiply what the share price is by how many shares there are, that's supposed to be the value of the company. But did GM go from 1804 a share worth of value all the way up to $60 a share per value in the matter of a few months here? I don't know. You know, almost, maybe over a year. I don't know. You know, maybe, but I don't think they would have seen this much growth as far as their company values. So it's going to be interesting to see what this quarter holds and what they report. So we'll look at one more here. We'll look at Apple, just a good old standby. Oh, I was right. Look at me. I can't type. My microphone's in front of my keyboard, so there we go. Apple. Yeah, I mean, did really good this week. Their last dividend was in May, so their quarterly reports are going to be coming out. And again, great, solid company to be investing in. I think that it could probably hit 150, maybe 160, you know, sometime next week. But I mean, everybody's bullish on it. This is, you know, one of those common growth stocks. We're just going to look at their quarter. July 27th, so that one's going to be a little bit sooner. So I know it's kind of a little hard on them as far as their innovation for long term, but as far as, you know, next week, I think that it could be definitely good. I mean, look at this growth since the pandemic at 57 a share, let's call it 60 a share, up to 145. That's insane. So yeah, I think that this is definitely a good stock to continue to watch, especially with everybody being inside and, you know, being on their phones so much. It's about time I need a new phone, but we'll see about that. So, but I think that'll do it for tonight, guys. Let's not forget the champion for next week. Feeling very, very confident about Space. Definitely going to be one to watch. And hopefully I'll have some good gains for everyone on Wednesday. And do we still have the picture up? I don't think so. Was it this tab? Yeah, there's our boy. All right, everybody. So that's going to do it for me tonight. We went a little over 8 tonight just because we logged on a little later. So that being said, I hope that everybody enjoyed and had a good episode. Again, this is not financial advice. This is just my opinion on the market and what I see and the things that I've researched and the time that I've put into looking at all this stuff and what I personally invest in and what I hold. And I, again, don't make anything off of this. I have no reason to tell you to go out and buy Space because I'm going to somehow make on it. I'm just trading it because I think that it's a good investment as far as the news and everything that's going to be coming up. So that's my honest opinion on all of this. And unfortunately, Saltwater Bets can join me tonight. But we will see you everyone on Wednesday. And happy trading, everybody. Make some gains.